Good morning, members. I call Committee of Supply, Section A, to order. We are meeting today to continue the consideration of the budget estimates of the Ministry of Citizens Services. I now recognize the Minister to move the vote.
Thank you, Chair. I move vote number 19, resolve that a sum not exceeding $705 million and $355,000 be granted to His Majesty to defray the expenses of Ministry of Citizen Services, Ministry operations to March 31st, 2026.
Thank you, Minister. Are there any questions? I now recognize the member for Prince George Valmont.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, continuing our discussion from yesterday evening, through you to the Minister. Minister, you indicated that along with MCFD, Health, Transportation, and the Public Service Agency, all continue to have backlogs of FOI requests. Can you please provide an explanation as to what challenges the ministries and the PSA are experiencing that continue to cause process delays and an accumulation of FOI requests after implementing the new unified software system?
Minister.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. And last evening, I mentioned about some of the issue with the FOI, and they're not backlogged, except for the MCFD. They're just overdue when they exceed a certain number of days. And we could certainly canvass the ministry and get more detail, because our role would just be a monitoring function in terms of if these exceed a number of days, and we put it into certain category. So the requests are kind of late because they're a large number of requests and they're very complex. So it takes time for each ministry to answer the request. But since we launched the new system in September 2024, there has been a marked improvement in terms of timeliness. And we expect more improvement as we use the system. And as I said, these are not backlogs except for the MCFD, which they really do have a large number of the requests that we need to get through. But the other ministry, I think we could get you specifics after we canvass with the ministry to get more details.
Member.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to the Minister. Over the past few years, requests for personal records to which a fee does not apply experienced a significant uptick. Over the same period, general requests for which a fee applies have declined more than 50%. Does the Minister have concerns regarding this disproportionate statistic, and how will it be addressed?
Minister.
For the member, my ministry is committed to providing timely and helpful freedom of information services to the people in BC. And people requesting their own personal information pay no fee at all. And Indigenous government entity are not required to pay an application fee. And the $10 application fee for non-personal FOI requests is in line with fees charged in other jurisdictions in Canada. And since the introduction of the application fee, my ministry has been monitoring its impact. And while the fees does not appear to pose a barrier to making an FOI request, we continue to monitor its impact and make informed improvement to our FOI services.
Member for Prince George Valmont.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to the Minister. I would have to respectfully disagree with you, Minister. Many FOI requests actually incur fees in the thousands of dollars with the various fee schedules. Based on feedback received from stakeholders and partners over the duration of the previous 4 years, has there been any discussion or consideration to remove, adjust, or increase any of the current fee schedules?
Minister.
Thank you for the question. According to our statistics, we have not seen a large drop in FOI requests because the implementation of the fees. And as I said, we are proactively disclosing 17 categories of information that's to do with the government as well as the ministers and the MLAs. And the fee was put in because of certain media requests were really overwhelming in terms of system. So before the fee was instituted, there was one media request that accounted for 3/4 of the requests that come to our ministry. So since we instituted the fee, that has dropped to 20%. So that's quite a drop from 75% and 20%. And I think the fee also has the effect of people who are making the requests would direct their question to the proper ministry. And of course, if they were directing it in a different ministry, we could help them to redirect it to the proper ministry, and there's no charge for that.
Member.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to the Minister. So just to clarify, the $10 fee was brought in because an individual within the media industry was making a large number of requests that were taking up too much time for the ministry. So instead of dealing with that individual, this ministry decided to implement a $10 fee for every British Columbian that wanted to submit an FOI request. That's the first question. And the second question is the same as the last question because it did not get answered. Based on feedback received from stakeholders and partners over the duration of the previous 4 years, has there been any discussions or consideration to remove, adjust, or increase the current fee schedules?
The $10 fee is not a barrier to people making requests. And based on our ongoing monitoring, there is no plan to adjust the fee at this point in time.
Member.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to the Minister. Can the Minister tell me how much the BC government has collected in all FOI processing fees since the fee schedules were brought into effect?
Minister.
Well, for the fiscal year 2023 to 2024, we have collected $29 million, no, $29,000, sorry, under this $10 application fee. So $29,650 for that fiscal year, 23-24.
Member.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to switch directions here. Through you to the Minister. In August 2024, staff from your ministry briefed the OIPC, Human Rights Commissioner, and the Ombudsman on the revised responsible use of AI guiding principles. Their feedback was expected in October of 2024. If the feedback was received, did it result in any adjustments to the current AI policy framework?
Minister.
So in November 2024, our ministry published a website dedicated to artificial intelligence that includes information on the policy framework, principles for the responsible use AI, and generative AI, as well as success stories on how different ministries are using AI effectively. And as a result of that, BC public servants commented on the draft principle. We gave them a time, and they made a comment from October 17, 2023 to January 31st, 2024. Their feedback from the Information and Privacy Commissioner, Human Rights Commissioner, and Ombudsperson has been incorporated into the updated principles.
Member.
Chair. Through you to the Minister. Earlier this year, the Office of Information and Privacy Commissioner for BC released an investigation report, 2501, Municipal Disclosure of Records. It contained 4 key recommendations. What role, responsibility, and/or authority does the minister hold to ensure recommendations contained in investigation reports and others regarding the FOI process are implemented?
Minister.
To the member, the OIPC, the Privacy Commissioner, made the recommendation to municipalities, and we don't have oversight over local government bodies. And the OIPC role is for that oversight. There is one recommendation that would apply to us, and we're reviewing that recommendation from the Privacy Commissioner.
Member.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to the Minister. The BC Information and Management Act requires the establishment of digital archives to preserve records of archival value and make them available to the public. And the government information is retained, archived, and disposed of in accordance with the Chief Records Officer approved information schedules. In 2024, this government procured a digital repository for the archives. What stage has the development of policy and process and transfer of information to the repository reached?
Minister.
Thank you for the question, member. And the member is correct. And the government has completed the first significant milestone towards establishing a digital archive by producing a digital repository to securely store government digital record of permanent value. But we are in the early stages of the projects. And so this is where we're at. And of course, going forward, the digital archive will exist in parallel with the BC archives. And the BC archives are held at the Royal BC Museum, and which also archives physical records, right? And digital record of permanent value remain in the custody of ministry at this time. And the government's record management policy and practices direct that these records be fully retained and not destroyed. So physical records of permanent value continue to be transferred to the BC archives as part of the Royal BC Museum.
Member.
Madam Chair, thank you, Minister. Through the chair to yourself, according to the Chief Records Officer Directive CRO 01 of 2023, 1st of October 2023, it is expected that the digital archives established under Section 12(1) of the Act will be operational on or before September 30th, 2025. Does the minister anticipate that this timeline will actually be met?
Minister.
I'd like to confirm that the digital repository is in operation, but we are doing a pilot using the records we have in my ministry, and this will be completed by September 2025. Then from then on, we'll make improvement from what we learned from this pilot project, and then we'll onboard the other ministries. But it will take a few years before the entire, repository is in operation with all the ministries.
Member.
Madam Chair, through you to the minister. If the timeline in a directive cannot be met, is there a requirement for the CRO to issue a new directive? And does the minister, based on the pilot project, have any idea of when we can expect this project to come to fruition?
Minister.
So the CRO will, before September 30th this year, update the directive to all the ministry to ask them to continue to hold their digital records of archival value until the transfer to the digital archive. So that's it by September 30th. And this is a new service. It's not a project. And we will actually have to assess the readiness of each ministry, the 24 ministry, in order to be able to deposit their information in this digital archives. So I would anticipate it will, when this fully operational, it will be several years. Yeah.
I ask the minister to move the motion.
Yes, Honorable Chair, I move that the committee rise and report progress and ask leave to sit again.
Members have heard the question. Those in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you, members. This committee stands adjourned.